His first press conference since winning the presidency. Donald Trump speaks from Trump Tower later today. Plus,
yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can.
Taking us back to where it all began, President Obama says farewell from Chicago.
WHBF is local for you. This is Local 4 News this morning.
Good morning and thanks for watching Local 4 News this morning. I'm Emily Scarlett. President Obama gave an emotional farewell address to the nation last night. He used the primetime speech to celebrate and defend his accomplishments. As Brooke Silva-Braga reports, the president also outlined what he described as the three biggest threats to American democracy.
President Obama returned to Chicago, where his political career was launched, to deliver a farewell speech calling on others to get involved in politics.
Our democracy is threatened whenever we take it for granted.
He named three specific threats to American democracy. The first, economic inequality. Another, political and cultural divisions that have splintered the country into separate groups.
For too many of us, it's become safer to retreat into our own bubbles.
The nation's first black president said racism is a third threat to democracy.
But laws alone won't be enough. Hearts must change.
And toward the end of his 50-minute speech, Obama gave an emotional tribute to his wife, Michelle, calling the First Lady his best friend.
You made the White House a place that belongs to everybody. And a new generation sets its sights higher because it has you as a role model.
Finally, Obama closed with a message pulled nearly word for word from his original presidential campaign.
That idea whispered by slaves and abolitionists. That spirit sung by immigrants and homesteaders and those who marched for justice. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you.
Brooke Silva-Braga for CBS News.
Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump will hold his first press conference since winning the presidency in November at Trump Tower today. That's even amid new revelations about the classified intelligence report into Russia's alleged interference in the 2016 election. Multiple government and intelligence officials tell CBS News that parts of that report contain unverified details suggesting Russia may have compromising information about Mr. Trump. In a Twitter post yesterday, the president-elect dismissed those claims as, quote, fake news. The Quad Cities Chamber of Commerce wants the state of Iowa to level the playing field when it comes to funding public schools. The chamber announced that education funding is one of its top priorities this legislative session. The Davenport School District has long complained about unfairness in the student funding formula. Now leaders from the chamber and the community at large want you to call your state lawmakers to do something about it. Business leaders say it takes a strong education to strengthen the local workforce.
Kids who are being funded at a lower level, they're aware of this at this point. They have that sense that they aren't worth as much as somebody in a richer district. Those are things that really end up having a ripple effect.
Iowa's always been a premier place for education and workforce training, and we see that diminishing with the lack of responsible action by the legislature.
Some speakers praised Davenport School Superintendent Art Tate and his move to use the district's reserves to pay for operations, even though it's against Iowa state law. Job seekers here in the Quad Cities can check out openings this afternoon. Davenport Parks and Recreation is holding a job fair today. There are a variety of jobs available too. That includes lifeguards, golf course attendants, and River's Edge staff. Anyone 14 and up can apply. That job fair runs from 2 o'clock this afternoon until 7 tonight at River's Edge. Investigators say the Bettendorf police officer who shot a man last month at Home Depot will not face charges. The Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation and the Scott County Attorney say Lieutenant Kent Keyshan's use of force was reasonable. Bettendorf police say the 19-year-old suspect snuck into the store after hours and held the manager hostage until officers arrived. Detectives say the teenager was acting suicidal and pointed what officers believed was a gun. Investigators later determined Joshua Price was holding an airsoft BB gun during the incident. He's now being held in the Scott County Jail on charges of assault on a police officer, burglary, and kidnapping. A man is in serious condition after a shooting Monday night in Maquoketa. That happened on East Platte Street. Police say 2 people went into a mobile home and shot a 31-year-old man. He was taken to Iowa City, where he's in serious condition. Investigators arrested 3 suspects. They are 20-year-old Desmond Reeves, 18-year-old Andrew Combs, and 22-year-old Alex Wright. All of them face burglary charges. Today, Dylan Roof will be formally sentenced for the killings of 9 churchgoers in Charleston, South Carolina. Yesterday, a federal jury unanimously decided he should be put to death. Roof killed 9 people inside a South Carolina black church in 2015. The 12 federal jurors spent 2 hours deliberating before recommending the death penalty on all 18 counts. The 22-year-old still faces murder charges in state court. Parts of the West Coast, already dealing with weeks of heavy snow, are now under a winter weather advisory. Snow is coming down at a rate of 1 inch per hour in some parts of Oregon. Many cars got stuck on roadways overnight. Now officials are urging drivers to just stay home. Here in the Quad Cities, we're making the most of winter. Hundreds of seniors are expected to register for the area's first Winter Iowa Senior Games. The Quad Cities would become the 4th location for this event. Men and women over the age of 50 are welcome to participate. The event will be held February 24th through the 26th. 250 athletes are expected to compete, and that includes people from out of state. 7 events will be offered, including track and field and pickleball. So sounds like a fun opportunity for some of our seniors in the area. Going back to what's happening on the West Coast, though, Anthony, as you mentioned earlier, it's one thing to be dealing with severe winter conditions, but when it's coming on top of severe weather that you've already experienced, that makes it even worse.
Yes, the weather pattern has been very active across the West Coast, with not inches of snow on top of inches of snow, but several feet of snow on top of several feet of snow, along with very heavy rain, mudslides, flooding, rain, and all of that energy is moving east and will be affecting us in the Quad Cities.
So maybe not in the same way, but some of those systems you've mentioned that are on their way to us are coming from what they're seeing on the West Coast.
Definitely so. You know, and as we saw yesterday, we had some light rain, a lot of wind. We're going to see some light rain today develop across the area, may end as some light snow tonight and early tomorrow morning. And then another one comes in for Friday. But the big one, the big piece of energy comes in late in the weekend. All of that's still to come. But right now outside, 28 degrees. Feels like 19, so even with the wind chill of 19, that's still warmer than what it should be for this time of the year. And the high today, 45. Again, the light rain develops later this morning or early afternoon, and by evening, it could be a light wintry mix across the area.
Yeah, you see those temperatures 45 and 50 yesterday, but then you factor in the wind and the rain. It's not as nice as it sounds.
Yeah, many times in the winter, when you get these big drop-offs in temperatures or the big rise in temperature, it's those winds that are channeling it into your area. So yesterday we hit 51, but it came with the 52-mile-per-hour wind gust.
All right, thanks for that, Anthony. The Bulldogs try to stay unbeaten in conference play. That and more coming up next in your morning sports.
Stay with us at 6:39. You're watching Local 4 News this morning.
WHBF is local for you with James Sears, Emily Scarlett, and meteorologist Anthony Peoples. This is Local 4 News this morning in high definition.